You know that feeling. You get this like massive burst of motivation, maybe to learn English, right? You're excited. You're ready to go. And then, well, maybe a few weeks in, it kind of hits you. You've maybe signed up for something, got some books, downloaded apps. But that initial excitement, it starts to fade. You're just not really sure where to focus or what the next step even is. It happens all the time, doesn't it? Wanting to get good at something, but then feeling kind of lost, like without a proper map. Well, today we're actually diving deep into exactly that problem. Our mission, really, is to explore this strategic framework, one that's built to take that initial energy and turn it into real, sustained English skills. We're digging into the RuiEnglish Goal Setting Flowchart. And this isn't just, vocabulary lists and grammar rules. It's about building your personal roadmap, one that actually works for you.
Yeah, and what's really smart about this specific approach, I think, is how it tackles those common issues right from the start. So many people just jump into the what book should I use? This flowchart says, hang on, let's start with who you are as a learner and crucially, why you're even learning English in the first place. By putting that self-understanding first, it sort of lays this foundation. It helps you avoid those classic mistakes, vague goals that don't go anywhere, wasting time on stuff that doesn't suit how you learn, or just, losing motivation when things get tough. It's about building something solid.
Okay, so let's unpack this thing. The RuiEnglish Goal Setting Flowchart. It's laid out as a step-by-step guide, basically. And it's built around three really logical phases: self-discovery first, then planning, and then goal setting. I think its real power is in that specific order, that sequence. It guides you from looking inwards right through to taking actual steps.
It's kind of like building a house, isn't it? You wouldn't just start pouring concrete without knowing what kind of house you want, or, putting up walls without a blueprint. This order works because, you can't really plan effectively or set meaningful goals until you've properly looked at your starting point and your resources and, what actually drives you. So you start with understanding yourself, then you plan realistically based on that. And only then do you set goals, track them, get feedback. It's like a smart ongoing loop.
Right. And this first phase 1, self-discovery, this is where it all kicks off. Really kicks off. The point here isn't just ticking boxes. It's about getting a handle on where you are now with English, sure. But more importantly, it's about connecting with your internal reasons. Why is nailing down that internal stuff so vital for making goals stick?
Yeah, that's such a key point. Think about it. Lots of learners start with this vague idea, I want to learn English, but then, the novelty fades or they hit a tricky grammar point. And that initial motivation just sort of evaporates. The insight here is that motivation isn't static. It's something you have to kind of actively manage. And if you don't know your deep why, you've got nothing to pull on when you get stuck. The flowchart really gets that this psychological bit is fundamental.
Absolutely. Okay, so within self-discovery, there are these 4 steps. First one, evaluation. This is about getting a really honest picture of your current English level. How does the flowchart suggest we do that accurately? It's easy to just guess, right?
Oh, absolutely. It's easy to overestimate or underestimate. The source mentions things like formal placement tests, or maybe just really honest self-assessments, even feedback from a teacher if you have one. The main thing is brutal honesty. Like, are you great at reading, but maybe struggle to understand spoken English? Or maybe you can chat casually, but freeze up in a work meeting. Pinpointing those specific areas, listening, speaking, reading, writing, grammar, vocab, gives you clear starting points.
Exactly, which flows right into the next step. Needs. This is where you identify why you need English. Is it for work, a promotion maybe? Or is it travel, study, maybe immigration, or just connecting with people? This step really pushes you to link your learning to actual outcomes.
Yes, because connecting it to something tangible like that, it changes everything. It moves learning English from this sort of vague wish to a clear purpose. It's the difference between, say, I should learn English and I need English for that job overseas, or maybe to talk to my partner's family properly. One feels like a chore, the other's a real driver.
And then, like we were just saying, there's that crucial motivation check. This is where you really clarify what's pushing you. And there's a great tip in the source for you listening. Actually write down your why, your main reason. And then, look at it again when you feel like giving up. Sounds simple, but it's powerful stuff.
It really is. Because having it written down, that's your anchor. It's not just a step in a flowchart. It's like your personal mission statement for learning English. When you hit a wall or life gets busy, that why reminds you why you started. It gives you that grit to keep going.
Totally. And the last step in this self-discovery phase is learning analysis. This is about figuring out how you learn best, your unique style.
Mhm.
Like, do you learn better in groups or flying solo? Are you a visual person needing charts, or do you learn best by listening? It's about knowing your strengths and weaknesses as a learner.
Yeah, that's so important. I've seen so many learners try to force methods that just don't mesh with how their brain works. If you're, say, a very visual learner trying to learn only from audio podcasts, you're making it harder for yourself from the get-go. This whole self-discovery part isn't just prep work. It's actually like the ultimate efficiency strategy for the whole process. It makes sure your effort goes where it counts most.
Okay, so once you've done that deep dive into yourself, you know who you are as a learner, then you move to phase 2, planning.
Hmm.
This is where you take all that self-knowledge and turn it into a practical strategy. The big thing here is avoiding feeling overwhelmed, right? By building a study plan that actually fits your real life, not some fantasy life where you have infinite time.
Exactly that. Because without this planning bit, even with the best intentions, you can just burn out really quickly. This is where you connect knowing yourself to knowing what to actually do.
Right. And again, 4 steps here. First one, time commitment. This is just about being realistic with your schedule. How many hours a week can you honestly commit consistently? And the source makes a great point. Consistency beats intensity. Better to do, say, 30 minutes every day than try to cram 3 hours in on a Sunday.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. I've seen it time and time again. Students try that, like, weekend warrior thing. Study for hours straight. Then they're totally exhausted by Tuesday and don't touch it again for days. This isn't about huge efforts. It's about small, sustainable habits. Like exercise, isn't it?
Yeah.
Better 20 minutes daily than one massive gym session a month. The flowchart forces you to be real about your life.
Makes sense. Then step 2 in planning is resources inventory. Basically, list out the tools and support you already have. Think apps, Duolingo, Anki, whatever books you own, maybe a tutor, online courses, even just conversation groups nearby.
And doing this stops that thing where someone, buys 5 different language apps but only really uses one, or they don't even realize there are great free resources they could be using. It's about using what you've got effectively.
Then, the third step in planning, setting priorities. This helps you focus on what's most important for your goals. This is huge because otherwise you're just trying to do everything at once. Like if your goal is job interviews, maybe speaking practice is your top priority. If it's writing academic papers, then writing skills. Travel, maybe listening comes first.
Yeah, this stops you feeling spread too thin. Trying to improve everything, speaking, reading, writing, listening all equally, all at the same time. It's just exhausting and, thankfully, not very effective. Prioritizing gives you that focus. It makes sure your limited time and energy go to the areas that will make the biggest difference for your specific why.
And the final planning step, class expectations. This is if you're taking classes. It's about defining what you actually want from that environment. Thinking about like the pace, the teaching style, how often you get feedback, the amount of homework.
Right. It's about being an active participant in your learning, not just showing up. If you know you make lots of speaking practice, don't join a class that's mostly the teacher talking about grammar rules. This step helps make sure your learning style matches the learning setting.
Okay, and that leads us neatly into the final phase, phase 3, goal setting. This is where all that careful self-discovery and planning turns into concrete actions, measurable stuff. These steps basically turn your ambition into actual trackable progress.
This really closes the loop, doesn't it? It takes all that groundwork and converts it into forward motion. It gives you clear targets.
Precisely. So it starts with, well, setting goals. And the core idea here is SMART goals. You've probably heard of this acronym. Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. The source gives a good example. Learn 50 new business English words in 4 weeks. Right? It's specific, you can measure it, it sounds achievable, it's relevant if you need business English, and it has a deadline.
Exactly. And the power of SMART goals isn't just the letters, it's that it forces you to be clear and accountable. Get better at English is just a wish. Learn 50 new business English words in 4 weeks. That's a plan. It tells you exactly what to do and lets you know very clearly if you did it or not, which is, really motivating in itself.
Then, right after setting goals, comes progress tracking. This is just about regularly checking how you're doing. Monitoring your improvement. How? Well, the source suggests things like maybe monthly tests, recording yourself speaking, keeping a journal, using quizzes and apps.
And tracking isn't just about seeing progress, which is great for morale, obviously. It's also about spotting where you might be getting stuck. Like, are you always falling short on your speaking goals? Maybe you need to change your practice method. It gives you actual data to make smarter choices about your learning. And yeah, seeing those little wins really keeps you going.
Definitely. And the last step in this whole flowchart is setting up a feedback system. This is super important for continuous improvement, getting input. Where does it come from? Teachers? Sure. But also maybe language partners, peers. Some apps have feedback features now, or even just structured self-reflection, looking critically at your own work.
Right. This is the part that makes it adaptive. It's not just a straight line. It's a cycle. Feedback lets you tweak and refine what you're doing. It ensures your learning isn't just happening randomly, but that it's actually getting better and more effective over time, tailored for real communication.
So wrapping this all up for you listening, the real strength of this Ruining English flowchart seems to be that logical sequence. First, understand yourself deeply. Second, make a plan that actually fits your life. And third, set clear, measurable goals and build in ways to track them and get feedback. This whole systematic way of doing things helps you sidestep those common traps, the fuzzy goals, wasted effort, lost motivation. Instead, it gives you a structured path, a roadmap that adapts with you, helping you really achieve that English mastery you're aiming for. So I guess the big takeaway is this. Getting really good at English isn't just about trying hard or wishing for it. It comes from a thought-out, personalized, structured approach, being strategic right from the start.
Absolutely. And maybe a final thought for you to consider is this. How could applying these same careful steps, self-discovery, realistic planning, setting measurable goals,